and teareth the arm with the crown of the head.
He teareth the arm with the crown of the head. They would take, the chief would take a feather out of the crown of their head, and cut their hands as a peace pact. As a peace pact to extend peace and brotherhood to those that they now deem friends. Now that's in North American history. That's in North American Indians history, that they would cut their hand with the crown. That means those big feather crowns, they would take one of the feathers out, cut their hand, and shake for alliances and peace pacts. Now that's a prophecy concerning who? The tribe of Gad, the North American Indians. Here's another prophecy. Read.
Psalms chapter 55, verse 20.
Go ahead.
He hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him.
It's talking about Esau. He hath put forth his hand as those that was at peace with him. Look how many peace treaties the North American Indians signed with them, and they broke every last one. Read.
He hath broken his covenant.
And they broke their agreement. Why? The North American Indians taught them how to operate on the land. And they would make one agreement and say, well, you can stay in this area. You stay on your side and we stay on our side. The North American Indians, they would push them further and further and further back until they were destroyed, until they was on reservations. North American Indians are not Judah. They're Gad. Read.
Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
But war was in his heart.
But war was in his heart.
His words were softer than oil.
It's talking about Esau's conversation with our brethren.
Yet
using psychology. Soft words as if they're not looking to destroy. Read.
Yet were they swords, drawn swords.
But the conquistadors was ready for death. They were ready for war. They was ready to kill. See? Now let's go back to Deuteronomy 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 28.
Let's go through them.
This is verse 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do.
Go ahead.
Until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it.
Go ahead.
The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever.
A consumption and a fever. Now, if you look at history, there was a time in which the Europeans who came over to the Americas was putting smallpox and different diseases in blankets. See? Would cause types of illnesses, fevers. They didn't suffer these curses. Now, they don't have to use blankets anymore. The new way of warfare against us is vaccines. But it's still the same result. It's death, destruction, eugenics, total killing of the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? Read.
And inflammation, and with an extreme burning.
Inflammation and what extreme burning? Now we all know we go through inflammation and extreme burning. Why? Because that's part of the curse that happened to us. By the nations overcoming us, taking us down, and placing and putting these diseases on us. Weapon warfare. Okay? Chemical warfare. Okay? Bio warfare. These are curses that happened to the North American Indians, as well as us. Read.
And with the sword.
And with the sword. The conquistadors came over with the sword to kill. Now, I need you to read something out of American Holocaust concerning the Belicua Taino Indians of Puerto Rico. Let's read it. The part you had earlier before we began.
This is just one reference.
Let's read that reference.
This is
What page you want?
This is the prologue, page X or 10. It says, just 21 years after Columbus's first landing in the Caribbean, the vastly populous island that the explorer had renamed Hispaniola was effectively desolate. Nearly 8 million people, those Columbus chose to call Indians, had been killed by violence.
Read it again.
Those who Columbus chose to call Indians.
Those who Columbus chose to call Indians
had been killed by violence.
Have been killed by violence, by Esau. Read.
Disease. And despair. It took a little longer about the span of a single human generation, but what happened on Hispaniola was the equivalent of more than 50 Hiroshimas.
More than 50 Hiroshimas happened. Give me the millions that died there under their hands.
This is 8 million.
8 million. 8 million died. 8 million brothers and sisters died. That was before we came to the Americas. These are our people, the Boricua Taino Indians. Did they not suffer in the curse? All right. I know we like to just focus on our connection, but listen, there's 12 tribes. And don't forget, one of the curses is Israel shall be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So if we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, eventually, through time, some of the families, through men having babies with their women, some of their babies will look like the other nations, but they're still Israel nonetheless. Okay? Well, let's get to it. Some more curses.
Verse 23.
And listen, we didn't even get to the slave ships yet. See? All of the 12 tribes of Israel suffered curses. The only tribe out of all the tribes of Israel that didn't suffer the same curses are Dan, because they are now under the Gentiles. Dan was the only one that kept some similitude of power when Israel fell. Till this day. Finish reading.
Verse 23. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron.
Go ahead.
The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into all kingdoms of the earth.
Read it again.
And shalt be removed into all kingdoms of the earth.
Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, would be removed into what?
All kingdoms of the earth.
All kingdoms of the earth. Now, what people will say is, those that are claiming that Israel is all black, is, yeah, they are scattered throughout all the kingdoms, but they're black people that are in those kingdoms. All right, I need you to distinguish which black people you're speaking of that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, who are Gad, who are Manasseh, who are Ephraim, who are Naphtali, on and on and on. You can't. You will not be able to. So that's another question you have to put out to some of these people who are claiming that these are black people that was from the 10 tribes that scattered. Were they dark? Were they people of color? Absolutely. But they didn't look exactly like Judah. They still had different features. Okay? You can't distinguish who the 10 tribes are. And if you can't distinguish them, why did the Most High give their father Jacob on his deathbed in Genesis, give them commandments of what would befall each child in the last days? If you wouldn't be able to distinguish them during the end times. There's no way you can pinpoint who's who at all. These people that are claiming that Israel is all black people and Negroid features, not one of them can distinguish who the 12 tribes are. Then how can you relate the prophecies of their people concerning the last days that was given to their fathers? How would you be able to do that? And I'm still waiting for someone that's claiming that they're all black, they're all Negroes. I'm waiting for someone to break that down. If what we're saying is incorrect, then the 10 tribes are not part of the nation of Israel, then I need someone to come out and show us who are the 10 tribes today, where they went, what are their names, who are their families, according to prophecy. But they will not be able to. The only thing they will be able to do is try to look at something and find a point of argument or find a point to try to tear down something. But they'll never bring anything to show who these people are. Now, in order for you to actually break something down or tear it down, you must know what's in place. You must understand what was there, or you're unqualified. You can't say, well, it's not. I don't know what it is, but it's not. Okay? Finish reading prophecies.
Verse 26. And thy carcass shall be meat unto the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, wherefore thou canst not be healed. The Lord shall smite.
That's smallpox, ain't it? Read it again.
And the Lord shall smite thee with the botch of Egypt.
The botch of Egypt.
And with the emerods, and with the scab.
The scabs.
And with the itch.
The itch.
Whereof thou canst not be healed.
Whereas thou canst not be healed. That's the same disease as smallpox that was given to the North American Indians and other tribes. Bio-warfare against the 10 tribes of Israel. And to some degree, in a lot of these vaccines, they be shooting a lot of that stuff in people today. In which there's no pandemic at all. There have never been a pandemic. All through history, all their pandemics been false flags and ways of population control and ways of disease in our people, and not have the public pushback against them. They made people believe that things were broken out and there was some organic disease developed from nowhere. No, all these diseases were created by sorcerers, whom today are called chemists, as weapons against the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Not just black people that came over in ships. Okay? Finish reading.
28. The Most High shall smite thee with madness.
With madness.
And blindness.
And blindness.
And astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
Thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled forevermore.
Thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled forevermore.
And no man shall save thee.
And no man shall save thee. Look at what's going on. Go on some of those reservations in North America. And you tell me these people are prospering. These people are suffering. Okay, matter of fact, casinos is actually a weapon to degenerate the area. It takes away the little money people have. It's only a weapon. Every place where they're imploding or destroying an economy, they put up a casino. Why? Because people are suffering and they're looking to try their luck someplace to come up, to make an ends meet. And that's another ploy to actually degenerate the people quicker. It's a tax on the people. They're just playing games, but they don't know that their money, that it was a targeted depletion of funds that will cause more crime. No money, lose your money, go into depression, start stealing, killing, start destroying people amongst you.